Hey, I'm Joshi and this is Spintires. Now, last time we started off, or we ended up in a different place with a different truck, but as it was using a lot of fuel and it was almost out of fuel, I had to go back and get a different truck. Now, I have been off screen doing a lot of trudging around and trying to get the truck you see in the background with the red tank. I tried to put it through, but it wasn't simply strong enough. So let's start off, and I want to go now for a different garage, which is actually quite a drive away, because since we are here with the red arrow, we have to drive all the way across this path, then go through the water, then there's some pavement, and eventually we end up at a garage. Now we can see if there's an alternative route. I think I might be able to go right on this intersection and cross at another point, but we will see that, as a lot of the map is still unknown for me. So to start off, last time I tried to teach you a little bit about how off-road cars work with the differentials, and today I want to actually talk a little bit about a different subject, and the subject is still very important to a vehicle, which is tires. Now, some might have noticed that the tires on the trucks here are actually quite rugged looking and rough, with a rough tread and generally very big and also very soft. Now, the reason they do this is because the tires on the trucks are chosen to be terrain tires, off-road tires, which you have in several degrees. One of them being a all-terrain tire, which is a healthy mix between a tire for the road and a tire for going into the sand or the mud. These generally have a disposition of 50-50, so they are built for 50% road use and 50% off-road use, and generally do pretty decent in most situations when handled correctly. Now, when these tires are not actually doing, or not actually cutting the chase for the heavier types of terrains, or if you simply want to go something like rock crawling, you might be more interested in a mud terrain tire. These have even a more aggressive, I would say, more aggressive tire tread to make sure the grip is actually digging into the terrain. Now let's see if we already are exit, and it looks like we are. So we're going right here. Now these more aggressive tire treads allow the driver to traverse more extreme types of terrain. One of them, as I mentioned, is rocks. So in the rock crawling, they generally are a little more protected against all kinds of dangers from the terrain. So if you go rock crawling, they have a reinforced sidewalls, they have reinforced treads, just to make sure that the tire is not being punctured and slowly is running flat. Now, I have seemed to get myself a little bit stuck, so I might be a little bit more distracted when talking. But the eventual idea of the mud terrain tires is to traverse a little bit more uninhabitable terrain, and I think I'm putting it against the tree there. These tires can be very effective through, for instance, mud. However, when facing sand, they do less well. This all has to do with the aggressiveness of the tire tread. The more aggressive the tire tread is in general, the more easy it gets stuck in sand, because instead of providing traction, it actually ends up shoveling itself into the ground. Disconnect this. And shoveling itself into the ground is again something that you do not wish when you want to get through. For that, the all-terrain tires are generally a better choice of tire, because their tread is less likely to dig themselves in while you are going through the sand. Now, to avoid the mud terrain tires becoming like shovels in the sand, you can always do a trick which they call airing down. This means that you lower the pressure inside the tires and therefore increasing the running surface of the actual mud terrain tire, meaning you will get more traction and it is less aggressive in trying to dig up itself. Now the same thing can be done with the all-terrain tires, which improve their traction in general. And a good practice is always to check and test the different types of tires and the different different pressure which works well for you. For one terrain a low pressure might work, and for another terrain a higher pressure might work. And also do keep in mind that when you do use... Oh, I damaged my truck because I had my differentials on. When you do air down, this is not suitable for the road, because the pressure that you generally go to is very low. While I'm not entirely sure about the PSI values, I believe generally tires go around 35 PSI, or in Europe or in the metric system they go to 2.8, around 2.8 bar. This makes it very suitable for a fuel efficient ride on actual pavement, but when driving through the dirt it sinks down too easily. And what I am currently doing is as before, I am winching myself through the sand because the truck seems to have insufficient traction to get through the terrain I'm facing. Since I do not have a all-wheel drive, it is significantly harder to trudge through, since I'm basically missing two tires for traction. Now here the importance of properly selected tires and properly aired down tires could have made it a lot easier for me to get through. But yeah, this was the general idea about tires and what they do. It's actually different per manufacturer, it's different per type of tire, and it's most of all it's a matter of personal preference. For me, I am more leaning towards the mud terrain tires for my own little vehicle, since I want to do some really heavy off-roading. But if you also use it for everyday use, the all-terrain tire might be something suited better. And now we will see where we have to go, and I think we have to keep left. This left is basically the only way to go. But everyone has their own preference, and what works for one person or even one vehicle does not work well for another, which is also a big difference in the types of traction. Now we're trying to wriggling our way out, and we are up. So yeah, that's basically how tires work. And let's... what did I do? And let's see if we can make the trip to... let's see, where should we try to go? I know from my earlier playthroughs that this piece of pavement right here is going in a circle like this. So maybe we can try to get there. And in the meantime, I'll ramble a little bit more about anything I can think of, basically. I've said what I wanted. I said what I wanted to say about the current subject of today. Actually, you know what? I do have something to tell about what I was busy with winching. When you're going through heavier off-roading or generally through terrain which is more inhospitable, it is generally a good advice to install a winch. And the basics of a winch is it is a electric motor attached to the chassis of your car to... oh boy, this was a bad idea. This was a bad idea. This was a very bad idea. I should have checked. I should have checked. Can I... is there a winch point? I can't winch anywhere. I'm stuck. I got myself stuck. I've got myself really stuck. Or did I? Things seem to be moving. But yeah, as I was saying, a winch is basically an electric motor which helps the vehicle recover itself. Ooh, I can winch. Lucky for us, there's a winch on the back side. So as you might have seen, that the winching provides quite a little bit of extra leverage into getting in and out of places, and the electric motor generally is suited for the amount of weight that the vehicle has. This electric motor then allows the... hope I'm not making the same mistake again. I made the same mistake again. This electric motor allows the driver of the vehicle to pull themselves out of a sticky situation, like I am doing currently. How even can I cross this? Brake, 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 brake. Carefully. Carefully, carefully. I don't think I can get any further than... wait, maybe? Maybe. Maybe we can get up in this way. Come on, you can do it, you can do it. Come on, truck. Come on, truck. This is scary. This is very scary. And actually we made it. So yeah, that's cool. We made it. Now it should be a little drive further towards the pavement, and then we can race off to the garage we were looking for. And I can see the road right there. We just need a little bit more. A little bit more conviction. And the right gear. And there we have it. But I think I will keep it at this for now. Thank you for watching. If I made you smile, don't forget to like, comment or subscribe, and I will have more madness the next time.